Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope that you are doing extremely well wherever you are, whenever this finds you. Put your foot down, madam. I have my baby here, so I'm just feeding her. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to talk today a little bit about masculine and feminine energies and what it means. And there is a lot of this out there, okay? So there's a lot of information about this out there, but the way that we really understand what it means is to experience it, to live it, to observe it, to embody it, and to go through it. Because about 5 years ago, I started really learning about the types of masculinity and femininity. But when you actually experience it in life, that's when you really, hello, mum, yeah, beautiful girl, understand what it means in all its forms. So toxic masculinity, divine masculinity, wounded femininity, and divine femininity. And of course, we all have a balance of both within us. Well, some are not balanced, right? Some are not balanced. That's just the truth. I hear that all the time. We have a balance of both. That is not correct. Some people are not balanced in both. But we all have access to both masculine and feminine energy within us, and in life and in emotions and stuff like that. Also, if you want to go deeper into it, we've all had past lives as both men and women. So within our soul, we carry both masculine and feminine energies, regardless of the gender that we're embodied in this lifetime. So what that means is you could be a female, but you could be a really masculine, you could be in your masculine energy. You could be a male and you could be in your feminine energy, etc., etc. But whatever it is that you're looking for, you need the opposite of that. So if you're a divine feminine, then you want a divine masculine partner. If you're a divine masculine, then you want a divine feminine partner, because you do need the polarity, right? Otherwise you're just in competition and you're in clashing and it's all over the place. So there's a massive misconception that I grew up with, and that was that if men were really tough, men were really strong, men were really brute, men were really raw, that they were embodying divine masculine energy, and that is fucking so incorrect, because men that do not face their shadow and have mother wounds and stuff like that, they will be resentful of the feminine energy, and therefore that actually reflects as them not having healed feminine energy within. So that actually ends up coming out, even though they might look physically masculine on the outside, or have really what I would call toxic masculinity traits of raw, no emotion needs to be felt, and fuck this, and I'm a beer drinking, smoking, trucking, fucking whatever. Now, there's nothing wrong if you're a trucker. That's not what this is about. But those men who think that they're so masculine are actually extremely wounded feminine men who can't control their own inner chaos, who cannot control their own inner emotion, and who project all of their hatred and wounds and issues and violence and fuckery onto other people. And it's normally the partner or the wife or the children, or both. It's both. So therefore, in that situation, I would say there is, like, it's toxic masculinity and toxic femininity because they're operating from a deeply toxic feminine energy, and they're not grounded at all. They don't have their shit under control. They're always angry and outbursting, and they often have like extreme underlying addictions, you know, whether that's like alcohol is normally like the main one, you know, violence, rage, gambling addictions, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I know because I made the mistake of having a child with someone like this. So I can tell you firsthand that it's real, and watching my father do it as well. So, you know, we repeat what we don't heal. This is why I'm so passionate about this work and making it known, because you've got to break the cycle and stop it, right? You got to stop it. So masculinity, divine masculinity, is extremely strong, protective, patient, grounded, not like easily swayed by chaos or the wildness of the divine feminine and all of her emotions and all of her big energy. So yeah, just as much as we can have wounded feminine energy within us. So like if we, regardless of gender, if we can't get our emotions under control and they're always chaotic, you know, always flying off the handle or reacting at things that are not that major but seem major, that's because we're operating from a deeply wounded feminine energy. We're not safe in our own body. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our intuition. And we're basically letting emotional chaos run our lives, okay? So yeah, there's different types of energy. Now, when you like do a lot of really deep healing work, because this is what chosen ones, light workers often have to go through, is the healing of like really deep traumatic childhood wounds or wounds in life, to heal our own inner wounded feminine and inner wounded masculine, so that we can merge and balance our internal energies to become the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I embodied divine feminine energy. I didn't always. I actually embodied a lot of toxic masculine traits, like, you know, very strong, don't show emotion, trying to control situations just out of fear and out of sheer lack of safety from my childhood, and then attracting men who are exactly the same and not feeling safe, not being able to trust anybody else. And so, yeah, this is how it all, you know, starts. And this is why I'm so interested in sharing, because I've been all of it. And if you don't get your wounded masculine and wounded feminine under control, it will rule your life. It will run your life until you can run no more. And you will keep attracting people who will hurt you and let you down and betray you and make you feel extremely unsafe until you face the wounds. Now, it's really hard because the wounds we don't cause, but it is our responsibility to heal, because one, we don't want to be living in extreme chaos. Two, we don't want to be feeling uptight and fucked up and just tense and, you know, guarded our entire life. We don't want to be attracting the wrong people and situations and relationships, you know, all that sort of stuff. Healing and facing within is the only way. Like, you know, people do really shitty things, but we have to take radical responsibility for ourselves and look within and say, why am I attracting this? How am I operating? Am I operating from where I want to be, et cetera, et cetera? To then come into a balance of divine masculine and divine feminine within. But you're always going to show, in my opinion, you're going to show more of, like, one, if you are divine feminine and you're attracting in a divine masculine, and that means that you have to let him, like, you actually have to let him be in his divine masculine energy, so that he doesn't then feel well, what am I here for, and then there's like times that when I was younger, I operated because I was more in my masculine energy, my wounded feminine was then taking over, and that's things like being really provocative, or not that you're slutty, but you may be using your looks as a way to get attention and validation. And if you're doing that, or if you have done that and you need to heal that, those individuals that you're attracting, they are only ever going to see you as an object. They're never going to see you as a human. They're never going to respect you or love you or any of that sort of stuff. So it all comes down to self-love and self-balance. Like, that's what this is about, is self-mastery. Basically anything that we're learning is underlined, in my opinion, by like self-love, self-worth, self-value. And it was 11:01 when I said that. I first started saying that, so thank you, confirmation. And as I said, I've been all of them, so I know I can speak from experience from all the relationships I've had, and family dynamics and issues and friendships, and just, in a way, what felt like just inescapable, pure evil. But, here we are, getting amongst it, healing and reclaiming our power, and remembering that no one has power over us, and that we actually can create the life of our dreams. But it all starts with the inner work. It only can come from inner work, inner healing, inner acknowledgement, inner awareness. It's more than that. It's like making conscious choices to be different, to choose differently for ourselves, to choose different people and friendships and vibrations and frequencies. Because, as we heal ourselves, we heal the planet. It has a ripple effect, but it also heals our children. They don't then have to carry those wounds with them anymore, because we've done the work. And the reason why I definitely, I was already on this path, but when I had children, it fucking amplified for me so loudly. And now I can see why, is because I don't want my children to ever live what I've had to go through, ever. Ever. And I made a promise to God. I was like, I will do whatever if you get me out of this, and I will heal, and I will do whatever, and I will be in service to you, because I never want to go through anything like that again. And I never want my children to ever have to experience, the horrors of some of the stuff that we've seen and we've been through. And, as this old world collapses, these old satanical, tyrannical, patriarchal energies collapse, it's making way for much more peace and things like that. And patriarchy, when you hear the terms these patriarchal structures, patriarchy in itself isn't toxic. It's it's the energy behind these things, and the confusion and the diminishment of women and stuff like that. So patriarchy isn't bad. These men who are patriarchal and who are whatever, it's the lack of masculinity that's the problem, not it's toxic masculinity. The patriarchy that they're referring to in those terms is the lack of masculinity, the lack of strong, present, calm, balanced, kind-hearted, protective men, not violent, erratic, heinous, out of control, addicted men or women, right? That's what we're talking about here. Because when you have a balanced dynamic, you do have to let him lead, because he needs to know that he's needed. So if you're just going to control everything, then it's not going to work. But what I found in my life is that because of what I've been through and how difficult it was, I became like even more hyper independent, and I was like, I don't need anyone, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is that we do, and we deep down, we want it. We want to be loved and we want to be held, but we have to come to that place within us first before we can ever look without, or before we can ever attract without. Otherwise, we're just going to keep attracting the same shit in a different person, in a different body, in a different circumstance. Like, so yeah. And divine femininity is that radiant, vibrant, happy, joyful, glowing, but fiery and wild still, and highly intuitive and mothering and nurturing, and like, you know, because the divine feminine, she amplifies. So whatever the man is providing in the physical, she's amplifying that. So, you know, if it's coming from a beautiful, healthy, balanced place and it's being amplified, and that's what you want, like that beautiful peace and love and gentleness and kindness, but also with that wild ferocity as well, because the feminine is that untamed, like the ocean, right? And the man is the container to hold it if he's grounded and present. And like, I've never, to be honest, like, I'm being very vulnerable here, like I only ever really had one role model of that in my life, and that was my grandfather. Like, my father was not grounded. He was erratic and angry all the time, because when you don't, and this isn't a judgment, but it's like when these men or women don't heal their inner wounds, they naturally project it onto us, especially as children, and then it gets passed down to us. And that's why they say generational, like, curse, because it is like, if you're growing up in a household and it's extremely wounded, then as that child, you're having that projected onto you. So that's what you think is right. And then that person grows up to, say, be your parent, and then they project that all onto you. And then you then go through those motions and behaviors, and you then embody that as well, until someone says, fuck no, stop, enough, it ends with me. And that's why you hear often the term chosen one, is because it doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else or whatever. It means that you were chosen to break the cycle. You were chosen in your lineage from hundreds of years, from your ancestors, whatever. Like, you are the one that says, no more, it ends with me. And that's why it means, like, you choose that. You're the chosen one to do that. And yeah, our path is much, much, much harder, because you're breaking decades, hundreds of years of abuse and cycles and pain and things that were passed down, you know, through our grandmother and mother and womb. And, like, you know, what do they say? You were conceived in your grandmother's womb, or something like that, or the egg was laid in your grandmother's womb. So, yeah, like, you're carrying that until you feel it all and heal it all. It lives in your body. And so there are a lot of there are so many wounded people walking around that, like, are just projecting. And so this is what a lot of this healing work is as well. For me personally, it's taught me, like, extreme boundaries and discernment, not because I want to close my heart or I want to be guarded in terms of that. It's because when you get to such a place of deep healing within yourself, you just won't allow it anymore. Your vibration rises, and you just can't be around the toxic people and the toxic patterns. Doesn't mean you hate them, doesn't mean you wish them ill, but you simply just can't connect with them, because you just can't be dragged back down into the chaos that you've healed from. And why would you? Like, you've got to stand in your power and say no. Like, cycle breakers don't then go back. Like, that's not what a cycle breaker is. You can't go back. You have to stop it. And by stopping it genuinely means no. Like, no, I'm not going back to that. No, I am not going to participate in that family dynamic. No, I am not doing that. No. And, you know, choosing yourself does mean a lot of no's for other people. Because until you say no to that and yes to yourself, you can't actually close that chapter and then recreate something much healthier if you're still bound to all of that. And I can tell you this firsthand because I am 40 years old and I am only just like really starting to understand this and to really say like, no, I won't participate in that. No, like there's a boundary that no, you are not getting back into my life. You can forgive people from afar. You can forgive in your own heart. You can forgive within your own body and you can let it go. And you never have to like re-engage with that person or let them into the level that they were. Like, this is something that has been really hard for me to understand, but I'm so focused on now from what I've been through, living in peace and love after facing so many shadows and just wanting the best for myself now and knowing I deserve that and for my children, that I am just not even, like, I'm not even entertaining anything above that. Like, I am currently trying to move away from their father, and it's been an extremely difficult process, but yeah, you've just got to you've got to realize that you get to a point and you've healed and you are free and you don't have to hold on to those mental chains anymore, and you can let go. You can really let go. And a lot of that is about what I was saying at the start about identifying masculine and feminine wounding and divinity, and then knowing what you want to create from there, which is only in the divine space. So yeah, I mean, I've got so many other examples I could share, and I can give you one now. And this isn't a victim thing or anything. It's just the truth. It's like men who are extremely controlling and are toxic and wounded from the feminine, they will be extremely emotionally abusive, extremely emotionally manipulative. They will be unable to have a genuine conversation. Like, they'll just outburst and deflect and will take no accountability whatsoever for anything. And quite often why women suffer so much is because women are, like, from my personal experience, like, we then have children and we raise children, so we're not obviously at work every day. And that's where like financial abuse comes in, where they are like not giving you any money, they're trying to trap you, which then, you know, is not only emotional blackmail, but it's extreme financial abuse. So you feel like you're trapped and you're stuck and you like you can't get out of that cycle because you don't want to put your children in childcare, or your children are so little that they need you every single day, they're not at school. And so, you know, these toxic, nasty, evil people who are just so wounded and so horrible, you know, this is what we're trying to break out of. And this is what we are breaking out of. I'm not even going to say how we are completely breaking away from that, and it's all crumbling. You know, and yeah, the astrology and the eclipses and all that are coming, but, you know, you can do this in your own life without an eclipse or without, you know, whatever. It's about your conscious intention and, you know, consciously intending with the divine to heal and to forgive and to move on and to create the life that you desire, because you fucking deserve it, and we deserve peace and love and reciprocated warmth and energy that is beautiful and meaningful and fulfilling. And, you know, when we, both the masculine and the feminine, are full in their cups, we can then overflow it to others and share that love and that light and that presence and that strength. And, you know, that's what we're here to do. So yes, I hope that whoever heard this message, that you got something out of it. And if you're in a really difficult situation right now, please keep going, because it does get better. And it all starts from within, inner shift to outer shift. Please know that it's possible, and just never give up, and always keep believing and keeping, a positive frame of mind no matter what's happening. So sending lots of love, and have a wonderful day.